The Bloomington Monroe County Metropolitan Planning Office Technical Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026. I guess we'll start with a thanks everybody for being here, as well as our attendees online. I guess we will start with introductions, and maybe we'll start to my left. Neil, are you okay with starting off?
Neil Copper, proxy for the City of Bloomington City Engineer.
Proxy David Hiddle.
Nichols, City of Bloomington Public Works Department.
John Baton, GIS Coordinator, Monroe County.
Jackie Jellin, Monroe County Planning.
Hunter Jackson, proxy for the Monroe County Auditor.
Jane Fleeg, City of Bloomington Utilities.
Kelly Whitmer, Monroe County Parks and Recreation.
Lynette Tavernier, Monroe County Highway Department, alternate for the Highway Engineer.
Megan Blair, GIS Manager, City of Bloomington.
Rebecca Swift, Operations and Development Division Director, Parks and Rec.
Linnea Wellings, NDOT, proxy for Rebecca Packer.
John Kennedy, CAC, ex officio.
And that was John Kennedy, who also introduced himself online. Thanks. I think we're good.
Thanks, everybody.
Sorry, Cheryl just joined. If you want to introduce yourself, Cheryl. Okay, maybe her sound's not working. Go ahead.
That's all right. Cheryl, if you get the chance later, you can introduce yourself. Okay, so I guess that moves us to the approval of the agenda for 2026, or for today's meeting on April 22nd. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second. Thanks, Jane and Nate. I believe that's who that was. Oh, it was Ryan. Sorry, Nate and Ryan, or Jane and Ryan. It's early. It's actually not early, but it feels early to me. So I guess would this be to have some votes now?
Yeah. Copper.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Roebling.
Yes.
Jellin.
Yes.
Fleeg.
Yes.
Gilliland.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes. Baton.
Great.
Yes.
Shelley, how do you say your last name? How do you say your last name? Stromitis. Yes. Kennedy is non-voting. Whitmer.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Wellings.
Yes.
Swift.
Yes.
Nickel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thanks. And that brings us to the approval of the past meeting minutes from February 25th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Neil and Ryan.
Wells. Swift, sorry.
Yes.
Wellings.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you. Tavernier, the first time.
Yes.
Nickel.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Whitmer.
Yes.
Striomatis. Yes. Gilliland. Gilliland. Jellin.
Yes.
Fleeg.
Yes.
Roebling.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Copper.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I'll go yes on that one as well.
I'm sorry.
I think it's okay, but just, I'm guessing we've got enough yeses, but just for the paperwork.
Gilliland is yes as well. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess that brings us to any type of communication from the chair or vice chair. I don't have a ton of things. Jane, do you have anything to bring up?
No, I don't. Thank you.
I guess the only thing I would mention is that it looks like our packets are new, and so I was wondering, as we get to the communications from staff, to talk about the kind of the change to the packets and things like that, if folks are interested, and just kind of the formatting. But beyond that, I guess we'll move on to communications from officers and/or committees. I guess hearing none, the reports from MPO staff. And if I'm going too quickly through this, let me know if I'm okay. Thank you.
I don't think he asked. Did you want to talk about the packets?
Yeah, if you guys want to kind of like elucidate, I just noticed that the format's a little bit different. They're smaller packets with links and stuff like that. The one thing I noticed is that the areas where, which Nate was so fortunate to have, these bolded kind of things that said, hey, chair, this is when you have a vote, that they're not bolded anymore. So if we could get those again, that'd be sweet for me, just for like the next couple meetings.
Yeah, there used to be an asterisk next to each item that required public comment, so that might be a nice item to kind of reinsert, just to make sure we're minding our P's and Q's.
Thanks for clarifying that, Nate, too, yeah, the asterisks. But yeah.
Good point. Thank you. Nice catch.
The packets are slightly different due to the accessibility laws, which were supposed to be in effect this coming Friday, but are now delayed for another year. So we will probably maintain this format. It is challenging to make all packet items accessible, so we're still learning. But that's why this format, because this format is a lot easier to make accessible to screen readers than a PDF is, so.
Cool, thanks, Katie. That was really clarifying. And yeah, we are, and the county side as well, just like the city, working towards that accessibility. So yeah, it's a big kind of lift, and hopefully there'll be some more kind of guidance we get from either the federal or state level for us to kind of move forward with that. Thanks. And I guess this just goes to the reports from the MPO staff.
Okay. Yeah, and the agenda and the packets, they're a big lift. Kudos to Katie for doing all this. I would have struggled still. First thing I want to mention is public hearing notice for 3 Bloomington Transit public comment sessions. These are proposed service improvements for Route 16 on the west side. The first public comment meeting is on Monday, May 4th, from 5 to 6 o'clock at Ivy Tech State College, the Lampkin Hall, out on the Ivy Tech College campus. Second meeting is on Wednesday, May 6th, from 12 to 1 o'clock. It's at Bloomington Public Transit Corporation's Downtown Transit Center, here on 301 South Walnut Street. And then the third meeting is Thursday, May 7th, from 4 to 5 o'clock, for those that can't make it during the noon hour. It's also at the Bloomington Public Transportation Corporation's Downtown Transit Center at 301 South Walnut. The overview is Route 16 is essentially a combination of existing routes 3 West and 13. It's a 90-minute schedule from departure all around and arrival back to the Downtown Transit Center. This consolidation is taking place to hopefully boost ridership. And that's about all I have to say. Other than that, anybody have any questions? It's all there as a pop-up in the packet, straight from Bloomington Public Transportation Corporation. Okay, next item we have is speed limit to be reduced on State Road 46 through Ellettsville. This is something the staff brought to the attention of the Indiana Department of Transportation, even though they were aware of it. Public news release on March 30th. In that a reduction of the speed limit became effective on Tuesday, March 31st through Ellettsville. School zone speed limit was reduced from 30 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour between 2nd Street and Paul Street. Advanced school signs and flashers were installed to help emphasize the change. Reduced speed is intended to enhance safety along the corridor. INDOT wants to remind everyone, and I'm sure the town of Ellettsville wants to remind everyone, to slow down, use extra caution, and avoid distractions when driving. In other words, phone down, head up. And all of that is taking place right now. Next thing we have is the AASHTO safety software. Some of you may not be aware of what AASHTO is. AASHTO is the American Association of State Highway Transportation Officials. They have recently, as in the last few years, developed various software packages to help State Department of Transportation's come to a common, what I would call a common usage of software. One of the packages out there, it's called AASHTO Safety Software. The Indiana Department of Transportation has announced that they are adopting this software. The adoption will take place, well, in beta testing, it'll take place over the summer and this fall. And then it goes into actual use January 1st. The software package replaces a software program called RoadHat, which was developed by Purdue University. It was a custom software package developed at least 10, maybe 12 years ago. And the HAT stands for Hazard Analysis Tool, not as in Purdue RoadHat. But the new AASHTO safety software package looks at intersections, looks at segments. It takes a very thorough, deep dive into safety analysis and crash causal factors. It will eventually have some sort of an AI type of module in it, which will help identify patterns, particularly on segments. Like I said, this will take place on January 1st. We've volunteered, Katie and I have volunteered to be beta testers for MPOs. Stay tuned, we'll let you know more as it comes about. The next thing I have is the Indiana Department of Transportation has released a draft active transportation. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the NDOT traffic count database system. Let me go back to that. NDOT traffic count database system. The MPO had paid for traffic count database software over the course of the last 9 years. We had paid for it, and the software wasn't used by the MPO staff. It was used by the City of Bloomington Engineering Department. It was also available to Monroe County Highway Department if they wanted to use it, and also the town of Ellettsville. We recently came upon an offer, which was too good to be true, from the Department of Transportation, in that they offered to let us use their statewide license, software license. That cut the cost for us by about $2,500. $2,500 doesn't sound like much, but it is when you're an MPO. So we went through a process with the engineering department staff where we uploaded all of the traffic count database system counts, 311 locations. We uploaded all of that several weeks ago, linked it in to the Department of Transportation's traffic count database system map. So if you go into the TCDS map by NDOT, start zooming in on Bloomington, you'll see all of the traffic count locations pop up and all of the different details on whether that's one-way traffic, two-way traffic. I don't know if it's showing design hourly volume or not. but it's showing all of the results of all of the counts we've done over the system, over the last decade. This will be a permanent process in that it costs us nothing, and it makes it easier for management too, because it's in a central location system with the Department of Transportation. Questions? Anybody? Neil, anything to add?
Yeah, I looked at this map yesterday, and it was a little confusing because I was trying to figure out what was going on with it. So that was thanks for kind of giving the background on it. In terms of the traffic counts, were those things, I guess, carried out or compiled by essentially like the those kind of sensors that are spread across roads when cars drive over them, et cetera?
These are all road tube counts.
Okay.
Road tube counts that are done by Mike Stewart and one of the other staff members of the engineering department. It's nitty-gritty, dirty work and dangerous too at the same time. Yeah, we're not using flock cameras. We're not using anything recording license plates or anything like that. It's just pure road tube. And they do directional counts, design hourly volumes. You get your average ADT out of all of that, and we use that for, well, they use it for engineering decisions. We also use it for looking at crash data, so that way we can look at crash factors and determine what the frequency is for certain types of crashes, particularly fatal and serious injury crashes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just kind of curious about the methodology or the background of it. Yeah, and it's the fact that this is free, it's great. So yeah, let's keep using it.
The price is right, free, yeah. Okay, the next item I'll go back to now is the Indiana Department of Transportation Draft Active Transportation Report. This is a draft plan which is out on the website still. I checked this morning just to make sure it's there, because sometimes it's there one day and gone the next. But it's still there. It also has a survey link where you can submit comments. The key thing about this plan is that it's dramatically different than other active transportation plans the department has ever published before. It not only identifies existing trails, greenways, and active transportation corridors, it identifies potential areas of need, but it also specifically notes that the Department of Transportation will build sidewalks where sidewalks are needed. That's I would call it it's revolutionary, because when I worked at the Department of Transportation, we weren't in the business of building sidewalks, and they weren't in the business of building sidewalks up until a few years ago. Now it's active, particularly in small locations, smaller villages and roadways, communities along state highways. NDOT will build those. NDOT will also actively seek to promote active transportation along those corridors within those small communities. You won't be seeing these along state highways and large rural areas, but you will be seeing them in smaller communities. Questions? Anybody? No. Okay. Monroe County flood map? Do that?
Yeah. A while back, both the city and the county were contacted through the chain of by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Louisville. They are reaching out to communities to try and identify areas in Indiana that experience severe roadway flooding. This isn't loading. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Areas in Indiana that experience severe roadway flooding, or potentially where fatalities or high water rescues have occurred. And they're doing this research as part of their flood safety and messaging signage campaign. So as part of this request, I learned about the county's map, and I thought I would let John talk about it.
Sure. And Lynette's here as well, and Ben Ayers from the Highway Department, who might have some more insight. But yeah, just for some background, we were contacted by, I believe it's a group called the Silver Jackets, which sounds kind of like an interesting like superhero group maybe, but they're actually Army Corps of Engineers folks. A longstanding organization within the Army Corps, looking, and there's a funding opportunity, and I believe it was Tammy Berman from Planning was the one who was contacted. So this was a collaborative effort between the Monroe County Planning Office, Emergency Management, the Silver Jackets, and the Highway Department, and then the GIS just was facilitating. But what we did was we took our roadside inventory within Monroe County Highway Department for where these signs might be, and then also locations that were noted by the Monroe County Fire Protection District, as well as EMA of areas where no and flooding occurred across these roads. And that's what this map is showing right now, along with a flood zone layer from the Department of Natural Resources to get an idea of, these areas, maybe right now we haven't witnessed flooding, but in 20 years we could be seeing things as well. So yeah, the goal for this is to essentially utilize funds that are existing to put those signs up that say "Turn around, don't drown." Right? I think it was 5 or 6 years ago we had a fatality in Bloomington, right, where somebody drove into Clear Creek after it, got really one of those torrential downpours. So this is a great program and something that I think would really just be a benefit for everybody.
Awesome. When I learned about your map, I thought it would be good to share with the group just so everyone was aware that it existed.
Yeah. Thanks, Katie.
And again, another resource just to share with you, but there's a 2026 Roadmap to Safety report that is out there if anybody's interested in seeing it. There is a States at a Glance section with their 3 categories of rating, and Indiana does fall in the cautious section, and so this gives a number on the billions of dollars, the annual cost due to motor vehicle crashes, the number of fatalities in 2024, the 10-year fatality total. And then it also talks about various laws that have been adopted or not yet adopted. And so that could be an interesting report for anyone who's interested in that. Questions? Okay, I just wanted to share that the MPO in March received a notice from NDOT that we would be receiving some extra funds for fiscal year 2026. Every MPO in the state did receive some level of extra funds. And our amount that we're receiving is $47,894. So not too high of a number in terms of transportation projects, but it is extra funding nonetheless. So I just wanted to share that bit of news.
Katie or Pat, I just realized now too, we did miss agenda item 6.6. I don't know if we want to cover that at the end of this. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that was my fault.
Item 6.10 is a memo regarding a meeting that the MPO staff, city staff, and county staff had on April 8th. At this meeting, we discussed three main points. The first being the use of the extra $47,000, almost $48,000 in fiscal year 26 funds that we're receiving from NDOT. Those have to be used by September 30th of 26. And so the group at the meeting agreed to grant these funds to the Downtown Curb Ramps Phase 5 project, since they were slated to receive funds in fiscal year 26, but were not able to because of cuts to the funding. The next item that we discussed was that the city of Bloomington and the county both have a preference to move their projects, 2 of their projects, College and Walnut Phase 1 and Dillman, Old 37 and Dillman. They desire to move them up to the next fiscal year for a variety of reasons. And so to make this possible, we had to kind of figure out if the funds that were left upon them moving could be used. And there are a few MPOs out there that are looking for trades. And so we discussed the possibility of using 2 of those trades to help us reshift the money around to allow Dillman and 37 to move from fiscal year 28 to 29, and to allow College and Walnut to move from 29 to 30. And just a reminder that the fiscal year is from July 1st to June 30th. And so as part of these bullet points in here, describe what would need to take place to try and reallocate those funds to the projects, and use as much of the funding as possible while still allowing those projects to move. So in the end, the group agreed it would be beneficial to move forward with both funding exchanges, which would allow both projects to move to their desired fiscal years. The third item we talked about was that as a result of this trade and project moving scenario, there would be some extra funds left over, $162,000 in fiscal year 28 and $97,000 in fiscal year 29 that we would need to figure out where to allocate. And we decided to postpone the decision for these until a later date. There are projects that can use those funds. We just have to figure out how we're going to divvy it up. Any questions?
I have one question, sorry. This is very helpful. I didn't read this beforehand. The note about the MPO can't promise a return of the remaining 6% of funds to the College and Walnut project in the future. Is that kind of why agenda item 3, like to try and reduce any loss in the trade, but then still do the trade? Or are you saying you're just not going to do the trade at all?
No, it just means that the city was willing to keep the project in the fiscal year if it didn't result in like total or too many loss of funds. And doing this trade scenario does result in the College and Walnut project not getting as many funds in its new fiscal year 30. And so it just means that right now all of the fiscal year 30 funds are allocated, and that there aren't any available at this time. And by the time there might be additional available, there will probably be another tip. So we'll have made all of these decisions all over again.
And when you do the trades, right, there's no inflation adjustment, like they get, the other LPA or the other agency gets the money for $2 million, and then in a year we get just the $2 million back. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a direct trade.
Thank you.
Add on to that if I can, just to acknowledge that I think from the city's perspective, we kind of wanted that noted as well, that we're not coming back 100% whole from these trades, but it's very close, and the trades are advantageous to us to a point where even though there's some small percentage where we're not getting back, we just want to say, hey, yeah, we know we're not quite getting it all back or not guaranteed it all back, but we also acknowledge this is beneficial and want to move forward, and appreciate, Katie, all of your time and kind of figuring out how to make all of this work.
And I will add that you'll not be voting on these changes at this point because the meeting was not that long ago and we have to go through with the trades. But at the next meeting, you'll be voting on all of these changes formally. Will you talk about the conflict?
Okay, I'm going to jump back to the conflict of interest. This is something that was new to us. City clerk advised us in February that all members of the Citizens Advisory Committee, the Technical Advisory Committee, and the Policy Committee were subject to completing a conflict of interest questionnaire. We did this in 2022, but we had not been directed in between that time, either before or after 2022, to have the conflict of interest questionnaire completed. However, she was rather adamant about it. It's State Board of Accounts is requiring the conflict of interest questionnaire. So we've sent out a notice to all the members of all three committees. Citizens Advisory Committee, we got 100% compliance. Thank you very much. Technical Advisory Committee, we still have 9 names, and I'm not going to say out loud who they are. I'll just contact you directly with an email about the fact that we will need you to complete a questionnaire, conflict of interest questionnaire. And then on the MPO Policy Committee, we had 3 people that have still not completed the questionnaire, but we'll work on that. The questionnaire just makes sure that you don't have a financial interest in any of the decisions made by this body, even though 2 of the committees are advisory only. The requirement is that you still have to do the questionnaire. And if you're a proxy, we will ask you to do the questionnaire also, just in case. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Catch me after the meeting. I'll be happy to talk to you about that. And then also, please feel free to contact the city clerk if you want to go past me to ask for more detailed questions. Thank you.
I guess the only question I have about that, was this a questionnaire that all boards and commissions were to fill out? So like the planning, like the Bloomington Planning Commission as well?
All boards and commissions, and even staff. I was identified as one of the people that had to fill out the questionnaire, so yeah, and Katie too.
Thanks, Pat.
Yeah.
Skipping back down to 6.11, I wanted to share just one update from an NDOT project. The SR 45 10th Street project from the bypass to Pete Ellis Drive, intersection improvements with added turn lanes. If you might remember that there was some questions about the trees that were slated for removal. The update on that is that they did do some redesign to the Pete Ellis side, and they were able to preserve 8 trees that were previously slated for removal. The redesign includes shorter storage lengths for the turn lanes on Pete Ellis, but the overall scope of the project remains unchanged. So that's the update on the tree issue for that one. The letting for that project took place April 8th, 26, with Kreider and Kreider, got the lowest bid. And then the next couple months will be utility relocations, and construction is anticipated. Sorry, I meant to, oops, switch over here. Construction is anticipated to begin in spring of 27, and the contract is expected to be completed in spring of 28. And then I wanted to invite Neil or Lynette, if you guys want to share any updates on your TIP projects that you have.
Yeah, I can just quickly run through the list and then happy to answer any questions. Our 2nd Street project is in utility relocations, and then we'll quickly shift into construction throughout this year. We have a curb ramp project called Downtown Curb Ramps Phase 4 that will go to bid this fall and includes numerous locations in the downtown area, so we're excited for that, getting close to bidding. We have Curb Ramps Phase 5 that we're just now starting design. We just issued notice to proceed to a consultant. That project is expected to focus on crosswalks improvements in the areas of 3rd and Atwater, just south of IU campus. Our High Street project, we just wrapped up right-of-way acquisition. We're in utility relocation this year throughout 2026, and then we'll be in construction next year in 2027. We have a Crosswalks Phase 3 project that is still in design, and we have Crosswalks Phase 4 that is out in the future. We haven't started yet. We're looking at consultant selection by the end of this year. We have a multi-use path project on North Dunn Street. We're in design on that. They're just getting started on right-of-way appraisals to start right-of-way acquisition. And then for our 2 College Walnut phases, those have not started, but we're hoping to get into consultant selection soon. I think that's the full list of our federal funded projects at the moment.
Thanks.
Okay, for Monroe County, for the Eagleston Avenue Bridge, the pre-construction meeting was on March 31st, 2026. We're going to begin to have bi-weekly meetings to keep up to date with utility relocations. The Rockport Road Bridge pre-construction meeting was on April 17th. The construction will begin June 1st. CLR is the contractor. Dillman Road Bridge, still on schedule and working on design. For the intersection improvement at Old State Road 37 South and Dillman Road, you mentioned this, but we worked with the MPO and city to move the project to construction year of fiscal year 2029. And then the last one is the countywide bridge inspections and inventory that was completed in March, and that's our required compliance month.
Thank you guys so much.
So I believe we're on to old business, and it doesn't look like there's anything there. So, and on to new business, I guess?
Yes, we have some TIP updates that do need voting on. They are described in the memo that you see. The first proposed amendment to the TIP is the addition of a NDOT project called IDIQ Bridge Maintenance and Repair with a total project cost of $1 million. There is not a specific location for this at this time. This is kind of just a general project that they add into the various counties and districts, and then they decide where they're going to use it. Similarly, we have another new project to add called the District Paving Project. This does have slightly more specific locations. It involves paving in various locations in Monroe County, SR 45 south of Martin Drive, and then a couple other counties as well. Again, they give us total project cost, and then they kind of make everyone add it to their TIP who's involved. The third amendment we need to make to the TIP is a new project from NDOT called Traffic Signal Modernization in various locations of Monroe and Owen counties. This is a total project cost of $500,000, scheduled for construction scheduled for 2029, fiscal year 2029. And the fourth update for the TIP is to update the funding for the slide correction on I-69 from SR 37 in Monroe County to Morgan County. So the funding type was changed. The right-of-way phase was moved to up to 2030. From 2026 to 2030 due to the stability of the project. And then the total project cost was raised a little bit, and the construction phase was moved out of the TIP to 2031 or 2032, again, because of the stability of the project. The fifth amendment that we have is an update for the funding for the downtown curb ramps Phase 5 project. The PE phase total needs to be updated to the actual contract amount of $271,490,000. Then we're taking away the funds that it was allocated this year, but then weren't able to use because there wasn't enough available. That is something we talked about in a previous meeting. The project cost was raised a little bit due to the new PE contract, and then the PE phase is moving to fiscal year 27 because there's not sufficient time to do all of the needed steps to use that extra funding. I should have said we'll also be adding that extra funding that we talked about on April 8th with the LPAs, that $47,000 that we're getting for fiscal year 26 that we're able to use up until September. And so just technicality is that we have to move the PE phase to fiscal year 27 because the paperwork for that will not be able to occur until fiscal year 27. I know my explanation for that was a little haphazard, so if you're confused, please let me know.
Could you clarify what the PE stands for?
Preliminary engineering.
Perfect, thank you.
So per procedures, the TAC will vote to recommend that recommend or deny, that the policy committee recommend or deny approval of these amendments.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second, do we need to do public comment?
Yeah, before we go to vote, we should do public comment.
And if there's a public comment about this, please, this is your opportunity.
If you're online, you can go ahead and unmute yourselves and speak if you have any public comments.
We're not hearing any. So I believe it was Jane and Neil. So I guess it would be a vote.
Okay. Strumata? Yes. Baton?
Yes.
Gilliland? Fleeg?
Yes.
Jellin?
Yes.
Roebling?
Yes.
Jackson? Copper?
Yes.
Blair?
Abstain.
Whitmer?
Yes.
Nickel?
Yes.
Tavernier?
Yes.
Wellings?
Yes.
Wells?
Abstain.
Let's see. Okay.
Gilliland abstain. Sorry.
Gilliland abstain? Okay. Motion passes with 3 abstentions.
Great, thanks, Katie. I believe this is now time for public comment on matters not included on the agenda. So anybody here that wishes to make a public comment, feel free, or folks online as well. And not seeing anybody here. Doesn't seem like anybody online either. I don't see any hands raised or anything like that. So I guess this moves us to communications from community members, or from committee members on matters not included on the agenda, so non-voting items. Anybody have anything they want to share? I do want to give an acknowledgement to the city Parks Department, and I believe also planning and engineering as well. I'm a big runner in town, and about a month ago, and I'm remiss for not acknowledging this earlier, I went on the Beeline, and I went further on the Beeline than I ever have before. And so the extension of the Beeline past Adams Street is just great. You can go all the way up to 17th Street and go further than that as well. But it was just a nice extra little bit of distance to cover and get to see a new part of town. So yeah, great work, and it's just a great contribution to the city.
Thanks, John.
I guess we'll move on to topics for future agendas, if folks have those as well. Does not seem like it. It looks like we have some upcoming meetings that are happening. Is today the 22nd? So today we have the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting, which is going to be at 5:30 p.m. It's a hybrid meeting. On the 24th, we have our Policy Committee meeting at 10:30 a.m. And then our next Technical Advisory Committee meeting will be May 27th, 2026. Is that right after Memorial Day?
I think it is.
Okay. Something, it must be.
Yes, it's
yeah.
after.
Okay. And that's going to be a hybrid as well. And I believe that's it. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Thanks, Jane. And I believe, was that Kelly who got second or Nate?
Oh, sure. Second.
Okay, we got Kelly Whitner with the second. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks, staff. And we'll see you guys May 27th. Thanks.
Thank you.